Welcome to the finale of the Ultra Nightmare Guide, uh, Final Sin. As you just noticed right there, we're going straight into this, so try to keep track. There are 4 demons, the 4 heavies that are important to progress the beginning of this fight. As you noticed in the beginning, I immediately took out the cannon from the beginning area, which I highly advise you do. And after taking out the 4 important demons, which are the 3 heavies and the shield guy, just stick around this high area and just focus down on taking out some fodder demons until there's enough for the next set of heavies to spawn. And I always go for the carcass first because I hate getting blocked when I'm trying to maneuver around the map. Those 2 heavies always spawn that same location, and this cyber demon always spawns in this corner. And over some time, the Baron will come in. It's not triggered by a certain amount of demons you kill. Just eventually that Baron will come in, so you'll want to take out those 3 heavies and as quick as possible, so you're not dealing with them and the Baron on top. And you can see that I'm ignoring the Baron. The reason why I'm ignoring him is because Barons are very easy to dodge and ignore and all that good stuff. And I just want to focus on the more dangerous heavies like the Whiplashes and Prowlers and the Pain Elemental. And there's usually 2 Whiplashes that spawn, so I just try to keep track as to when and which Whiplash I'm about to kill. Like, I think this Whiplash is already the 2nd Whiplash. And of course the Hell Knight eventually makes his way onto the field. And the good thing about this level is that if you're always moving around in circles, just traversing the map, a lot of the fodder demons will try to tend to stick to the center and just cluster themselves. So you could very easily just go straight to that group and just flamethrower them and just get so much armor out of it. But of course, you usually, for this first area, this first fight, you usually don't want to stick to the ground, the floor level, or it's very easy to be overtaken. And after taking care of the Baron there, if you notice, a checkpoint save happens, and that indicates that the Cyber Demon is going to come in. I believe you still get that checkpoint save even in Ultra Nightmare. I'll have to double check with my Ultra Nightmare run itself. If you haven't seen that yet and you want to take notes off of that one too, then I highly suggest you go watch that video as well. And after taking care of the Cyber Demon, the Doom Hunter always spawns in this location. And it's just easy peasy. This first fight is incredibly easy. You have so much room, so much space. You could just safely just whip around with the meat hook and all that good stuff. And there's always enough fodder for so much armor and health. Can never go wrong. Now this little area, you can just triple shot the Revenant so you don't have to worry about it, or you can just do that little skip. After getting past a certain point, when you climb through the wall, the icon will actually despawn those fodder demons. And what I usually always like to do here is always flamethrower all those fodder. I made a mistake and I stepped forward too far, and because like after you step past, I guess, that painting, or once you reach that to that point of the painting, the Prowler and several imps spawn. What I usually like to do is just hang back, take care of the Mancubus and those fodder demons, and then progress a little bit forward to make the Prowler spawn. And same with the Pinky. After progressing forward just a tiny bit, the Pinky spawns. So you usually just don't want to just move forward little by little until the demons are taken care of. Now in this little secret area, I believe there is an armor. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I didn't go to that location in my Ultra Nightmare run. Now it's important coming into this next major fight with full ballista ammo. You'll see soon. With these 3 demons, you could completely ignore them by just staggering the Hell Knight and just pushing on forward. But a Hell Knight spawns, a Carcass, and a Revenant. They all tend to spawn the same location. As for all the demons here, all these spawn at the same locations as well. So, you know, make sure you practice this level and get the muscle memory down as to which paths I take here. As you noticed, after taking out the buff totem, I immediately go for that corner where the BFG is, and I wait for the Hell Knight to drop. And after the Hell Knight is taken care of, the Whiplash follows immediately after, and you could just freeze it, assuming you have the Ice Golem. And that Dread Knight will always spawn in that location, so just be ready for it. And one important thing to note, I think I come into this level with 2 BFG shots. As you obviously notice, I haven't been BFGing anything. That's because with this run, and depending on how your previous Erdak level goes, you're probably gonna walk into this level with either 2, 1, or no BFG shots. So I'm using all the current strategy as if I were to walk into this with no BFG shots, even though I clearly have 2. But I will explain that when will be the right times to use a BFG shot if you came in with a spare shot like I did. For example, well, as you saw the way I took care of this fight, I always come in, flamethrower all those demons, and just rush the Caco Demon and the Revenant, and then just try to disarm the Arachnotron. Right now I'm waiting for my second hand grenade to recharge so I can be ready for this Marauder fight. If you actually have a spare BFG shot, I highly recommend you stagger him, then just one-shot him with the BFG. Unfortunately for me, and it seems this happens the most times with this Marauder, that he just doesn't tend to stagger. And it's only with this Marauder specifically. All other Marauders tend to stagger pretty consistently, but this one is always trouble. So if you're going to fight it out, make sure you get the Revenant out of the way, and you know, always try to isolate the Marauder himself. As soon as you see, say, an imp or a gargoyle running next to him, then just dip out and just Try to take care of the imp or gargoyle or both until you can safely fight the Marauder by himself. Because the last thing you need is for his eyes to flash green and you go to blast him so he can get staggered, and you end up getting shot or smacked by a imp, and your little stagger animation will force you to end up missing your shot. And that's just bad business. Now I thought that stupid zombie died, but whoopsie me. Now here I'm just gonna wait for the gas tank to recharge. The reason for that is because this next section, I'm not gonna immediately run in. I'm actually gonna take out the Cyber Demon and roughly 2 to 3 heavy demons before entering the next room. And the reason why I don't immediately chainsaw, or well, I don't immediately kill those other 2 demons in that room that I just meat hooked, is because after I waste all my ammo killing as much heavy demons as I can from here, I just go back to those 2 and chainsaw them both so I could run into this fight with completely full ammunition. Now, unfortunately for me, the Cyber Demon got behind that wall, so it's a little difficult to get some clean shots on him. But I highly advise, you know, if you obviously want to beat Ultra Nightmare, that you play this as patiently as you can and try to kill the Cyber Demon, as well as a couple heavies. Now I highly recommend you kill at least 2 heavies. The reason for that is so the Baron can spawn early, and what I do coming into this room will force the Baron to fall out of the map, so you don't have to deal with that thing. You'll see what I mean when we get to it. Now I'm satisfied with as many with how much heavy demons I have killed, so I go to these 2 to chainsaw, and unfortunately for me, the zombie either died or just jumped off the map. So that sucks, but I got 1 chainsaw off, so I'm decent on ammunition. So coming into this fight, I'm gonna be pausing several times because this does need a lot of explanation. So here I come to this corner, this far side, and I shoot to hit this far window. The reason for that is for the BFG shot to have maximum travel time and kill as much demons as it can, so I can force the 2 cyber demons to spawn early. Now there's another thing I want you to notice. See this tendril? This tendril is going all the way back to where I was standing, because that's where the Baron spawns. If you see this Baron, I mean this tendril is hitting the Baron and forcing him to not jump onto the platform, thus he falls off of the map. If you don't see this tendril, then the Baron is in play and you're gonna have to deal with him. Now, after shooting off that BFG shot, I run to this corner, take out the Cyber Demon, and rush myself to the other corner and just crucify this guy. After that, then I immediately take that platform, and I usually go for that monkey bar, but I didn't have any air dashes, so I opted for just walking down the hall. And I usually just tend to fight it out here since the Baron is gone. There's only very few demons to deal with. Should be Revenant somewhere. But after taking care of those 2 tyrants, there should be a Cackle Demon, 2 Pinkies, Revenants, and just some imps, soldiers, and gargoyles. Now, as you can notice, I'm not killing the zombie because I'm going to be coming back down to chainsaw him. Coming up here, I use a rocket launcher to just immediately kill these two Revenants and the Hell Knight. Now coming up here, I have my rocket launcher and, well, chain gun ready, because I want to take out these heavy demons as quick as possible. And unfortunately for me, the Arachnotron did not jump up. For some reason, it stayed down at the bottom. Usually what you want to do with the Arachnotron is just force it down, kill as quick as possible before having to fight the Baron. And that's how I usually fight the Baron, just freeze it, use chain gun, that's about it. Now back to the zombie I was talking about. Get some free ammunition before entering the next room. Now, if you have, if you're coming to this level with no BFG shots, and you have to, well, for one, I highly recommend that you should fight out the first Marauder, because the second Marauder is far tougher to deal with if you're not using any BFG shots. So if you start this level with 0 BFG shots, then I just highly advise to fight out the first Marauder and BFG shot the second Marauder, because that's what I will be doing here. Now, pay attention to where I go. I immediately go to this corner and shoot, so the BFG shot can go as far out as possible, and that takes care of all the heavies and immediately spawns the Marauder. Now, of course, just play it patiently and just end it like that. And after killing the Marauder, the Archvile is always going to spawn in that same location. Now, I was too slow to kill him. Sadly, I was trying to play with luck and get as much armor out of it as I can. But that's how you make that fight easy. Now, if you're still hurting for armor, then hopefully if you have everything on your suit upgraded, I mean hurting for armor, hurting for ammo, you can just use these barrels to completely refill your ammunition. And if you at this point have 2 BFG shots, then pay attention to what I do here. Oh well, this is a cool little skip for you, but pay attention to where I shoot. I aim for, you can see off of this fucking piece of earth that there's this red light reflecting off of it or shining onto it. Aim for that red light and to let the BFG shot travel as far as it can. And you can see this counter right here in the middle of the screen. If that goes up to 11, then that means you killed 11 demons, and that's all the demons between you and the Icon of Sin. Now, if you're also still hurting for BFG ammunition at that point, you can still make it very easy by just staying back on that platform before jumping down and just sniping at all the demons. Now, here I actually switched the micro missiles. At this point, I do have it fully upgraded. You'll see why soon enough. And of course, have saving throw ready if you haven't wasted it. Now, the first thing you're gonna want to do in this fight is be mashing your shoot button. you're gonna want to immediately fire off a BFG shot, and then immediately aim for his belly and fire off another. This will usually hit the belly or the arm, whichever is fine. I usually like it when it hits the arm, but it's whatever. But now you can see I wait for a demon to spawn and I kill the zombie. Let me just explain what's going on here. I'm taking advantage of the fully upgraded micro missiles, and usually when you kill a demon with the normal heavy cannon shots, it upgrades the micro missiles damage by 30%, which is massive damage. And so I immediately take advantage of that and just go to town. Now, you obviously gonna want to have your ice bomb ready. I was playing super risky there. Usually, I'm just gonna pause here just to explain it a little bit more. After you destroy a part with the micro missiles, you probably shouldn't do what I just did and refill on micro missile ammunition and just get, really overzealous with trying to do more damage with micro missiles. Just deplete your micro missiles once, and then go for this next that BFG shot and just hit another part of his armor. Now for the rest of his armor parts, I just use shotgun ballista combo. Makes real quick work. And of course, staying up top is always for the best. Now this first fight, you just want to use a maximum of 3 BFG shots, and the last 2 remaining recharges that are on this first fight, you're gonna want to take into the next battle. And of course, you're gonna want to go into the next battle with full ammunition, and of course full chainsaw charges. Now please pay very close attention to how I approach this fight. I always go straight to his belly, wait for him to back off a bit, and shoot the belly. The reason why I shoot the belly is because it's usually the hardest part of his body to hit. Here I wait for him to start shooting from his forehead. He'll always do these attacks in this same pattern if you run the same route. When he shoots the multi-shot out of his head, I always aim for his left arm shoulder. And here, when you sit in the back, he's always gonna do those melee slam temper tantrum shit. And I always just take out the arm when he does it. Makes it so much easier because his arms and his belly are kind of the hardest things to hit since they're so low. Now, hopefully you have practiced the ballista precision shot combo, because keeping your distance from him is very important. And as you can see here, if you see him charging up his laser, just switch to the chain gun and just block him. Now, luckily for me, I've have whiplashes and dread knight spawn, but sometimes you might not be lucky and get Mancubus and Cyber Mancubus to spawn, which is very unfortunate. Here I actually heard his charge up. But yeah, dealing with Cacodemons, Painted Elementals, and Mancubus is very bad because, well, for one, Mancubus are somehow very accurate, so when you're jumping around, they're still going to be hitting you in the air. Oh, and another thing to note is you probably noticed that I haven't used my final BFG shot. That shot is, I save it for if things are getting bad. I just shoot it straight up into the air and it takes care of everything on the field. I don't want to use it just to pop one body part off of him when I could just use it for safety, you know? So just play patiently, keep your distance, just keep shooting into his body parts. Now, after taking care of his chest and his shoulders and everything that's easier to hit, I just play at this jump pad. Well, all the jump pads really. You're gonna want to hit those a lot just to stay safe from any other demons. But I usually stay at the jump pads and I just take out the chain gun. And I just keep shooting until eventually the body part pops. As you can see, I'm using air control to just slowly bring myself back to this jump pad. I really like to camp that jump pad. That jump pad makes it very easy to get very high and aim down at his arms and belly if you miss his belly. Now I already took out all the parts, so I just fire off the last BFG shot into the air, just so no other demons can end up killing me before the kill animation happens, and that's the end of it. That's the end of Ultra Nightmare. I know with Final Sin there's a lot of information to go over, so I highly recommend you practice this as much as you can. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'll be more than glad to answer them. Especially with this kind of current route I took was assuming you're running into this fight with no BFG shots. But if you do come in with, like, say 2 or 1, then the first Marauder just instantly BFG kill him, and just play everything else out normally. If you come in with 2, then you could safely just use 1 in the first fight if things get hairy, and use the second BFG shot if you come in with 2 on the first Marauder. But I just want to stress how important it is to BFG shot the second Marauder, since that arena is far tougher to navigate, and the amount of gargoyles they throw at you is incredibly annoying. But that covers it. Like I said, if you have any questions, if you have any more issues, I guess, that you want to go over with, especially since it's like after update 2, and some of the early videos in this guide are pre-update 2, let me know what part you're having an issue with, and I'll just go over that level again and I'll give you some quick tips through a comment. And yeah, that covers it. Hopefully this helps you in completing Ultra Nightmare. You get that gold skin. And yeah, see y'all laters.